Hello, I'm Evan Brand, certified functional medicine practitioner. I'm talking with you today about waking up in the middle of the night. I used to work third shift myself to pay for my college. It was horrible. I worked something like midnight to 5 a.m. I had an entirely disrupted circadian rhythm. I ended up finding out I had some adrenal issues, some gut issues, all sorts of mood changes, all due to a mismatched circadian rhythm. Us as humans are designed to wake up with the sun and go to bed with the sun or a few hours later. Now, people that are working third shift, swing shift, night shift, whatever you call this, across the world, it's known by the World Health Organization now as a possible or probable carcinogen. In terms of sleep quality, there's a few different things that we can talk about in terms of dysfunction that can impact your sleep. So the first one's going to be cortisol. Now, if you're looking at a cortisol rhythm, you're looking at an adrenal stress profile test. This is a salivary hormone test that I run on nearly every single person that I work with to look at their cortisol function. Now, basically what this is over here on the left you have your cortisol level, and over here on the bottom you have time. And you're supposed to start your day with a high cortisol, and it's supposed to drop to the bottom here at around midnight. This is so that you can properly sleep. Now, what most people don't discuss is melatonin. When cortisol goes down like this, melatonin is basically low all day here, and then melatonin begins to peak right here at around midnight, and melatonin slowly drops so that it's at its lowest point about 6, 7 a.m. the next morning, and then cortisol bounces back up. So you see the pattern here with these two hormones. If you have elevated cortisol at night, you will not be able to sleep, plain and simple. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Let's move on to number 2, which is blood sugar. When blood sugar gets low, that's an emergency response. When blood sugar gets high, that's an emergency response. In both of those times, the pancreas likely can't keep up, and so the adrenals have to come online. And that adrenaline that you get from that will also wake you up in the middle of the night. If you've ever waken up in the middle of the night and you've had heart palpitations, heart racing, mind racing, it's likely that it has some type of issue, which these two are connected really, cortisol and or blood sugar issue. Now, number 3 is going to be emotional stress. So I've worked with many people, unfortunately, over the past few years that are going through divorces. And this is an emotional stress that is major, and it comes up in the conversation. Now, I'm not a psychotherapist, but it is important to discuss these huge emotional stressors, because if someone's designing a protocol for you and you still can't sleep, these emotional stressors are the next piece that I look for and that I inquire about just to see if that's a factor. So in terms of solutions, one is going to be flotation tanks. These are called sensory deprivation tanks. You may find something online called a float spa. Essentially, this is a giant bathtub with about 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt dissolved into it. It's a weightless room, essentially, with 10 inches of water. That is the temperature of your skin. So you're in a completely weightless, soundproof, light-proof environment. You float on the surface of the water. It's incredibly relaxing, and it helps to balance out this cortisol and balance out the nervous system. It can be really, really helpful. I have my best nights of sleep after I float. Number 2 is going to be meditation. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. That's what I do. That's what I recommend. It's definitely attainable. It's not hard. Wake up, sit down on the yoga mat, just relax. If the thoughts come up, that's okay. Watch the thoughts go by. That's all there really is to it. Next is going to be journaling. So this could be sort of like a vision board, a vision journal, if you will, writing down what you want out of your life. That can be helpful to get that out on a piece of paper. Or if there's significant stressors in your life that are causing you to wake up in the middle of the night, unresolved issues, journal it out. That can be incredibly helpful. Next is talk it out. So whether you're talking with a therapist, you're talking with your friend, your family member. Next is going to be eat. So if you need a little bit of food, if you need a snack before you go to bed, good fat source, a good protein source, that can be really helpful. So sometimes I'll make a shake before I go to bed. If I'm feeling very low in terms of blood sugar, I may do something like a handful of some blueberries before I go to sleep. Make sure those are organic, and that can be really helpful to top off the tank so that blood sugar doesn't crash in the middle of the night. Let's keep going. Lights out. Look for another video on blue light and how this impacts melatonin production. But truth be told, we should not be using technology at night. So find a time, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock p.m., whatever's best for you. turn off your Wi-Fi router, get off your phone, get off your computer, get off your tablets. Many people promote the orange goggles. Yeah, it's helpful, but you also have skin receptors that detect light. So if you're just wearing these goggles and you're getting blasted by a giant TV, it doesn't really make a difference. I think it's overstated and it's a big sales pitch by a lot of people. Supplements, going to be the last one. You can't really see it behind me, but herbal supplements can be really, really helpful for sleep, especially if you're waking up. A couple things I like are chamomile tea. It's a good gentle place to start. There's also a little bit more potent teas out there that can contain something like valerian root. And then you can also find capsulated versions of chamomile and valerian. Those are probably two of my favorite sleep aids, skullcap being another one. There's several different vitamins and other nootropics that can be helpful for sleep, but they do have addiction potential. So I would stick with the herbs and see what happens. This is Evan Brain signing out. If you'd like to schedule a 15-minute free call with myself, talk about your sleep issues, I'd be happy to help you. I wrote my first book on this, have a lot of sympathy and empathy for people that cannot sleep. You can't be healthy, you can't burn fat, your brain doesn't work properly when you can't sleep. And the CDC talks about the statistics of people, sleep disorders are epidemic in the United States and likely the rest of the developed world. So we really have to start making a change before more wrecks happen on the road, people falling asleep on the wheels, things like that. It's just out of control. We can solve this. You can click on screen, schedule that consult with myself, and be sure to subscribe for the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.